Hey guys, Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jody, and on my channel I talk about Broadway and books. And in today's video, I'll be talking about Broadway, where I continue my Broadway show series, where I talk about every Broadway show I ever saw over the 20 years I was seeing Broadway shows on a regular basis. So as per usual with the series on my channel, I will go over who was in the cast at the performance I saw, who was on the creative team, how I liked the show, any favorite songs or moments I had from the show, and anything interesting I find in the playbill. So without any further ado, let's get on to today's video. So today I'll be talking about the ninth Broadway show I ever saw, which was the musical Cabaret. So I did end up seeing Cabaret a total of 3 times on Broadway. I saw this production in particular, the 1998 production, twice, and then I saw the 2013 production once. So I have seen Cabaret a total of 3 times on Broadway, but today I'll just be talking about my first time seeing the show, which in turn was my ninth Broadway show. So my first time seeing the show, which was my ninth Broadway show, was in January of 2001. So I'll get on into the playbill now. So here is the page with the credits, the cast list, and this playbill's set up a little differently, as in the cast list and the headshots are on the same page, whereas with most playbills they're on different pages. So that's really interesting, unique, and kind of different, and I like it. And I forgot about that until I looked in the playbill and saw it. I'm just checking to make sure the camera's in focus. So it seems okay, hopefully. Okay, so this was only my ninth Broadway show, so I hadn't seen like many performers in different shows at this point. I usually had just seen them in the like one show I had seen them in at this point. So, but since then I've seen a lot of these performers at other shows, and yeah, it's really fun to look back on and see who you saw in the shows when you saw them. I did remember seeing Katie Finneran in the show without having to look at my playbill. She played Sally Bowles at my performance. I went on to see her in Promises, Promises in 2010, and since her time in Cabaret, she's gone on to win 2 Tony Awards, one for Noises Off in 2002 and one for Promises, Promises in 2010. And I did see her in Promises, Promises, like I said, and she definitely deserved to win a Tony Award for her performance in that show, because she was amazing in that show. But yeah, I'll talk more about that when I get around to talking about Promises, Promises. But she was also very amazing in this show as well. And she's a great performer, as in she can do drama and comedy, like just both very well. And, you know, yeah. And then Matt McGrath is another performer who I just remember offhand that I saw him as the MC. I don't believe I have seen him in any other shows since my time seeing him in Cabaret this first time. But I do know that he recently was in Girl from North Country a few years ago. He when the show returned to Broadway, I believe he replaced a cast member. So he has been on Broadway recently. I just haven't seen him in anything, but I really wanted to see Girl from North Country too. So that would have been cool, but you know, oh well. And then there were performers that I remember this whole cast being amazing. I remember liking all the performances and really enjoying my time seeing the show. But I was still very new to seeing shows, like I said, so I didn't know who a lot of these performers were at the time that I saw the show. But when I looked in the playbill, I was like, oh my gosh, I saw these people in this show. That's amazing. And Dick Latessa's one of those performers. He played Herr Schultz. And yeah, he actually came to this show. He had just returned from the national tour of Cabaret. And he was nominated for a few awards for his performance in that tour, which is super cool. But yeah, his name may sound familiar to you because he was a part of the original cast of Hairspray. He did play Tracy's father, and he did win a Tony Award for his performance in that show. And I'm just a huge fan of his. I really like Hairspray, and you know, I'm more than likely liked his performance in this show. I just wasn't aware of who he was at the time. He has since passed away, and I just feel lucky to have gotten to see him on the Broadway stage because he was such an amazing performer, like I said. Another performer whose name stood out to me because I had seen them in a show after I saw them in Cabaret was Carol Shelley. She played Fraulein Schneider. I saw her in Wicked. She was in the original cast of Wicked, and just another amazing performer. And she also too sadly has since passed away, and I once again feel very lucky to have gotten to see her on the Broadway stage. And I'll just show their pictures and biographies one more time. Matt McGrath, Katie Finneran, Dick Latessa, and Carol Shelley. And then the only other performer in this cast whose name stood out to me, not for seeing them in other Broadway shows since my time seeing them in Cabaret, but for their television work. They've been in quite a few television shows, and that's Mila Jovovich. She played Lulu at my production, and she was also a part of all the chorus members. I'm not sure all the chorus members, but many of the chorus members in Cabaret at the productions that I saw were part of the orchestra, and she also played the violin. So that's super cool. But she went on to be in Law and Order and Rescue Me, and I believe she was on, I forget what the show was called, but she was on a show that was on MTV years ago. But I remember liking that show. That's super random, but I thought I'd mention it. Yeah, her biography and headshot are right here. And just, those are the performers that I remember from seeing in this show and other shows afterwards. And then now for the creative team, I'll just show the picture, the cast list once more. Most notably for Cabaret is the music and lyrics, which were by Fred Ebb and John Kander, and this is one of their most well-known shows, along with Chicago. They have wrote the songs for many Broadway shows, but I would say Cabaret and Chicago are their most well-known shows. And they were also most recently represented, I believe, on Broadway in New York, in the Broadway show New York, New York, which I didn't get to see, but I think their score was a part of that show as well. Their songs were in that show, is what I mean. And then the next person that stands out to me that I recognize from other things since then is Rob Marshall. He co-directed and choreographed the first Broadway production of Cabaret. He went on to direct the film adaptation of Chicago. That was a great movie, by the way. And then Sam Mendes directed this production of Cabaret, and he's directed many Broadway shows. Offhand, I can't remember. I think I've seen other Broadway shows that he directed, but he's an amazing director. And like this was a great production, and he directed this production. So, and then okay, so for how I like the show, I really liked Cabaret. I saw it 3 times, so clearly I liked the show. I didn't know much about the show, going into it, but it's definitely a show that after you see it, it's definitely a show that stays with you, and that's just a sign of a really well done, good show. And up to this point, with the exception, I guess I hadn't seen many serious, heavy, dark musicals up to this point. Like Rent, I saw it, and I would categorize that kind of as very much as a dark, heavy, serious show. And this was probably like my second heavy, dark, serious show. And it's a heavy show, but it's still an amazing, wonderful show as well. And if you get the chance to see the upcoming Broadway revival, I definitely recommend to see it. It's a wonderful show. Like I said, heavy and very dark, but nonetheless an amazing show. And if given the chance to see the upcoming Broadway revival, I would totally go. So, but who knows if I'll get to see it. But now for like my favorite songs and stuff like that. And this is the page with the musical numbers. Okay, so I have a few favorite songs from the show. Welcome In is definitely a showstopper number. It's the number that opens the show. It's very much a memorable number, and the MC and the chorus sing that, and it's just a song you remember. And then my favorite song from this show by far is Maybe This Time, which is sung by Sally. I really like this show. I like this show. Duh. I've said that several times, but I like this song. It's a song that I find very relatable, and because Sally's at a place, from what I remember, I saw the show quite a while ago, but she's like at a place where she feels stuck, and she's kind of just like longing for like to do more with her life, to have a better life, and she keeps hoping. It's like she feels defeated, but she feels hopeful at the same time. Like maybe this time things might go a different way. Maybe they'll be better. And I really like it. It's a song that has stayed with me. And like it's just like I said, it's a relatable song, and it's like she's like she feels defeated, but she's she's holding on to that hope, and I really like it. And then the last song that really I remember is a song called Money. It's sung by the MC and the chorus. And I don't really remember much about what it's about. I just remember the MC coming on the stage and having a briefcase and then like putting it above his head at some point, opening it up, and then money flying out. It's a real number. But yeah. It's a really great score. All the songs are amazing. You know, I those are the songs that just stand out to me the most still after all this time. And so, yeah, I'll just look through the playbill now and show you if anything interesting is in the playbill. I think I said I saw this in January 2001, but I'm not positive. But yeah, this playbill is a little bit different than your average playbill. This production was produced by the Roundabout Theater Company, so all the articles in the playbill have to do with the Roundabout Theater Company versus having to do with like the whole theater scene, if you will. And so I'll just point out anything that seems interesting to me. So there's the first page with some of the stuff in the playbill in January 2001 when I saw it is what's listed. A production of Betrayal, a Broadway revival of Betrayal, was playing at the time with Liv Schreiber, Julia Binoche, and John Slattery, and there's a whole article in here about that. And it's a pretty long article. So one more page. There's John Slattery and Liv Schreiber. And then I'll have a little bit about the original production that starred Blythe Danner, Roy Schneider, and Raul Julia. And yeah, I remember Betrayal. I think it played on Broadway a few years ago. I didn't get to see it, but you know, I didn't get to see every Broadway show I wanted to in the 20 years I was seeing Broadway shows, but I would have liked to have seen that. But and then there is another article in here about, I guess Matt McGrath at the time had just joined the production of Cabaret, so they have a whole article in here, you know, welcoming him to the show. And yeah, the number Money that I just talked about, I believe this is a picture from the from that number. And then that's kind of like the last thing I think that's kind of interesting that I saw in the playbill. So yeah, so yeah, today I talked about my 9th Broadway show, which was my first time seeing Cabaret on Broadway. And be sure to stay tuned to the series on my channel. The next video I will be talking about something related to books, because I talk about books and Broadway in that order. So it's books and then Broadway. So the video after my next video will be where I talked about my 10th Broadway show, which will be when I saw Jane Eyre in April of 2001. So be sure to stay tuned for that. So let me know in the comments if you ever saw Cabaret on Broadway, or do you plan on seeing the upcoming Broadway revival of the show? Let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye.